Okay, jumping into the next one. All right. So there was an interesting story that I ran across, and I felt like I don't know. I mean, it's hard to gauge by just the eye test. You wouldn't necessarily think that this would be the case, but if the numbers bear this out, then we're headed in the right direction, and hopefully more progress can be made. But MPD has released a statement stating crime has been down 18% through the first half of 2024. And this story is released by the Daily Memphian. And let's jump into the story. So, sorry, stream. Okay, so crime in Memphis is trending down through the first half of 2024. According to Memphis Police Department data shared with the Memphis City Council on Tuesday, July 23rd, so this was the last City Council meeting or committee meetings, overall major property and violent crimes were down 18% through the first half of the year compared to the same period in 2023. Part 1, violent crimes, which include homicides, aggravated assaults, robberies, and rapes, are down 8% through the first 6 months of the year, according to MPD. Homicides are down 11% with a total of 162 homicides for the year as of June 30th compared to 182 on June 30th, 2023. So 20 less than last year. Robberies are down 27% from 1,041 this year to 1,427 the year before. Forcible rapes were down, and I'm not sure whether or not that word could be said, so I apologize. I'll bleep that out. So forcible R's were down 7%, and aggravated assaults were down less than 1%. I'm glad to see the numbers are going down, Councilmember Jerry Green said. I do want to keep it in context. We're comparing the numbers to the worst year on record for Memphis. Wow. Yeah, that pretty much says it all. 2023 was the worst year ever recorded for Memphis, and we're saying that we're down from that number. It's not really saying a lot about progress being made. Officials credited Operation Code Zero, a bi-weekly enforcement that rotates through the city's precincts, as one of the many tactics that has contributed toward the city's crime decrease. The most recent 12-hour enforcement occurred in the Austin P precinct on July 19th, when 155 officers from various agencies made 30 felony arrests, 15 misdemeanor arrests, and 29 misdemeanor arrests or citations. Data prior to the most recent Code Zero operation shows that there were 159 total arrests and 828 traffic citations from 482 MPD personnel during operations in Mount Moriah Airways and Tillman precincts. This is what we need, Councilmember Rhonda Logan said of this weekend's operation. It shook things up, and that's something I want to see on a ongoing basis. Davis said the Code Zero is the new model that our officers have embraced. They actually enjoy working with each other and outside of their normal work environments to conduct these operations, and they've been very successful because of the force multiplier that's involved. Through partnerships with other participating city entities, including the Memphis Fire Department Code Enforcement, Code Zero's efforts conducted 75 business assessments and 79 fire inspections and issued 73 court citations. Code enforcement conducts blight remediation, including tire collection, bagging trash, and issuing yard violations. A total of 10,245 tires were collected and 5,394 bags of trash picked up. Asked if MPD accompanies code enforcement, Assistant Chief of Police Services, Don Crow, said officers do not accompany them all day, but will assist if requested. Councilmember Ford Canali suggested moving code enforcement under MPD's umbrella, a format similar to that used by the Atlanta Police Department. I think it would certainly add teeth to code enforcement, Canali said. Car thefts down 38%. Memphis is also seeing a significant drop in car-related crimes this year. According to MPD's data presented Tuesday, auto thefts from January 1 to June 30th were down 38%, and thefts from cars are down 23%. Nissans are now the most stolen vehicle, with 844 stolen this year, compared to 626 Hyundais and 569 Kia stolen. 18-year-olds make up the highest number of auto theft arrests, accounting for 53 of 529 arrests. Juveniles were responsible for 124 of those arrests. Businesses burglaries are down 46%, although misdemeanor and felony shoplifting only saw 1% and 3% decreases in each respective category. The Memphis Shelby Crime Commission also released its 2024 stats Tuesday, which similarly pointed to a downward trend when compared to 2023. The violent crime rate has decreased 5.1% in the first half of the year compared to last year, according to the Crime Commission's data, which is gathered from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Tennessee Incident-Based Reporting System. But the local independent nonprofit also compared this year's stats to previous lower crime years. It reports violent crime rate through the first half of 2024 is 17% higher than it was in 2020. And the overall crime rate is up 20% from 2020. Crime Commission data shows the major property crime rate down 19% from the last year, but up 40% from 2021. Currently, the city employs 1,798 officers, according to the City of Memphis Performance Dashboard. With fewer officers, it's more important than ever that MPD be committed to smart strategies that help make sure officers are in the right places at the right times to have the maximum positive impact, said Bill Gibbons, president of the Crime Commission. Yeah, and that end of that article did a lot to kind of showcase where we currently are. It doesn't give any type of confidence in the leadership of Memphis Police Department that we had a record year in 2023 for violent crimes, car theft, crime rate, period, then to turn back around and say that, well, we're down 18% from the record year. That's not progress. It's not progress if the only thing that you can say is, well, at least we didn't set a new record this year. It's just as bad. Now, if you're pulling from, I'm glad that they put the numbers in this article for 2020, because it's saying that this year we're 17% higher. So I guess you could say we're trending in the right direction, and obviously they have a plan in place. The Code Zero, Operation Code Zero, that obviously they said that the Memphis Police Department officers are embracing, and morale is high on that particular effort. I mean, that's really, when it all boils down to it, that's what you need to have. You need to have officers that are bought into whatever that plan is. And so if this is the direction, I don't know exactly when this was put into effect. I'm guessing at the beginning of this year. So the only way to get back down to where we want to be, or be very low in terms of crime, is to scale back and slowly start to come back down from whatever the record that was set in 2023. So ultimately, if you're looking at it from a positive point of view, we're moving in the right direction. No complaints, and but you just have to temper, your thoughts on, okay, 18% decrease. You have to set the right expectation. Okay, yeah, well, 18% is great, but still at the same time, we need to be down way further. Now, if they would have came back and said 30% because we're down near to where we were in 2020, now that would have been outstanding. But what were we implementing 2019, 2020 versus what the operation that they're utilizing now at this point? Now, I believe that, I mean, there's new leadership that's involved. So obviously, when you bring on new leadership, new initiatives are put into place. So time will tell on this particular thing. I think that hey, we have, in order to get where we need to be, we need to obviously drop numbers, and that's what they're doing. And so good on them for releasing this information, putting it in front of the Memphis City Council. I hope everybody, if you're a Memphian, you're invested in knowing these numbers and what you can do, or what's going on around you, what's being used is actually effective, and we'll just kind of ride from there and see whether or not the second half of this year, now that they have a full grasp of what this operation Code Zero is, we'll see whether or not that's actually what gets us to where we want to be. So we have another 6 months to pay close attention, and then we'll start throwing up question marks on whether or not that this particular thing is where we need to be. So can't wait till the end of the year, but that is that's the crime rate drop story that was released from the Daily Memphian.